Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to this series 3, or chapter 3, within supervision, on supervision, principles of supervisions. And today we're going to be talking about groups, teams, and powerful meetings. Okay, so let's go into the areas where we talked about. We're going to be describing different types of groups, way to describe a group, how we would associate with a group, what a team consists of, 4 stages of group formation. This is very important, and this is a basic that goes across to all other disciplines. And team building. How do I, as a first-line supervisor, create a team? You have to build the team up just because they come and working for you, and you're in charge. You have to understand their different ideas, understand the different personalities, different ways to communicate to different individuals, how the different team members take information in, how do I motivate different team members, how do I reward the team as a whole and the individual, reason for teams, preparing for a meeting, reason for meetings, preparing for a meeting, conducting a meeting, and overcoming problems within a meeting. So let's go to the first one. I've got this pretty big there. If you're taking me on an online class or one of my workshops, you basically already have a concept map. So let's open this concept map, and what do we have here? We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about functional teams, and basically those are teams that are created by some kind of functionality, marketing, sales, engineering, customer service, whatever. So that takes care of our functional teams. The next one you're going to be looking at is basically task groups. Within the teams, within the certain groups are set up to perform certain tasks. So basically, they'll carry out specific activities, a one-time deal, or maybe an ongoing, maybe for 1 season, 2 seasons. And after the task or the assignment is completed, they are basically dissolved, okay, or disbanded in this one. And then you have formal teams. Any formal teams, we talk about formal teams, we're talking about a team for the organization. It means the company basically is paying for you, you are part of the team, and it's part of a requirement of your job duties or job assignment. Informal teams. Now, informal teams are just as powerful as formal teams from a supervisory position because you have informal leaders. You have informal networks, informal communications. What we talk about down the road is grapevine. So if I want the team to be productive and I want to basically, for lack of better words, get the team to buy in, I have to be able to understand the informal team leaders. He or she may not have a title, but they have a very powerful influence. They could be within the teams, okay? Share similar interests, not defined by structure or organization. So that takes care of that. Ways to describe groups. Okay, you have different ways to describe groups. When I look at different groups, and these are the basic ones. So if I'm looking at different groups, we all play different roles within a group. That's easy. Role conflict is basically when I have to play 2 different roles in the same thing. So I'm a mother and I'm a father. I'm a good cop, bad cop. It kind of gives you a situation. A person has 2 different roles. And that call for conflicting types of behavior. And look at it this way. A lot of times, sometimes I may be the leader in the role. Other times I may be the follower. Sometimes I bring out my managerial aspects. Other times I bring out my marketing. My marketing is more free-spirited. My managerial is more rigid, more structured. Okay. Group norms is understanding about standards of the groups. What is accepted behavior within the groups, stated and implied. So these are standards. We're all empowered up to what level. Status of a group. Within a group, some individuals, the first time they even meet, may have a status. You find out this person's a star celebrity, this person's a vice president, or this person is older than you are, has a unique position, title, or educational level. That already, different sex, different races, that already puts that individual in a different status within the group. Depending if the group feels that individual, that is an important part of the status. Cohesiveness. The biggest thing of a group, just like in a family, is how do we get along? If we're fighting internally, we can never really accomplish much or be competitive because we're always fighting against each other. She did this, he did this. You can't. You have to look at it. Here's the goal, here's the mission, and go forward. Why group sticks together? Equal participation by all. So, the leader controls that. Share goals and characteristics. People come into, we have similarities. We like, we're not going to agree with everything, but a majority, 90%, 80% of the time, we're on the same page. Comfortable group size. If you have too large of a group, it becomes I don't know, an audience, for lack of better words. Group size anywhere should be between 15 and 20. It's pretty manageable. The smaller the group, the more manageable. If it's too small, it basically you lose the impact if you're looking at participation and buy-in from the collective. Because a lot of times the smaller group are members of a larger group or other groups, and they are also could be influences or informal team leaders. Okay, comfort size and competition with other groups. Homogeneity is degrees which members are the same, and it doesn't have to be that they're all males or they're all females or they're all Caucasians or they're all African American. People of color or European or whatever. It could be different disciplines, everything else, but there's something that they have in common. They grew up in the same state. They came up through the same ranks in the company. So there's a lot of ways of describing a group. Just to be aware of it, because once you associate with a group, you associate with all these attributes and factors. Okay, now this one here is the 4 stages of group. I'm going to go through this here. Every group, just like a family, you bring a new member in, or anybody else, you're going to go through these stages. As a first-line supervisor, middle manager, you have to be aware of these stages. Anytime I bring in a group, they're going to go through these stages. Some are go faster, some go slower, some get stuck in one stage. As a manager, I know the different stages as supervisor, and I basically keep an eye on it, and I try to minimize any kind of the negative aspect of that stage and try to promote the positive aspect of the stage. So even if the group has been formed for a while, the minute I bring in a new individual, the whole mix changes. Like I'm adding to a bakery, I got a yellow cake, I add a different color, and all of a sudden it could be pink or red, and now the whole mixture stays still the cake, it's still the same group, but something in the composure, the attributes change. So the first thing in the group is the forming stage. You first get there, you don't know about the different rules, you don't know purpose. That's where the first line supervisor, here, this is our new team, or you are in the new teams, here's my goals, here's my objective. You need some guidance, and there's a little agreement. The next time now the groups are kind of together to get to the stormy stage. They finally went. Just think when you went out with your first on a date with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or whoever you went out with on the first date or even the first meeting, in a function or a group that you've been with. At the beginning, everyone's doing pretty good. After you get to know each other, the real personalities come out. Before I'd open up the door and say, hey, open up your own door. After so much, well, I didn't really know you had a temper or whatever. Remember? So the personality's coming out. As a first-line supervisor, I have to be aware of that there is going to be, here's the stage where I develop trust not only between them and myself, but also within the team. I try to minimize the conflict. Conflict is good because that's why just something that we're on a track. You're not going to make everyone comfortable, but I minimize it not so the conflict has become a destructive conflict. When you start calling names and writing in each other's faces, that conflict is out of hand because now the other person doesn't know I'm going to push a button and he or she will be in a disruptive type of a behavior. There's power struggles. Who wants to be in charge? There's a lot of software out there that forms teams. You don't want to have all leaders because you have the different conflicts. You don't want all followers. You're looking for a leader, like a sheep without a shepherd. Okay, and they need coaching. So in that stage, the first line supervisor, you're basically coaching to make sure you minimize that. How do I do a deal with conflict? Okay, we all have our opinions. How do I handle the situation? And that's what you really, not only how you deal with it, but how does a group come up with the group norms and everything else. Okay. Now, after the storming phases pass by and everyone takes a deep breath and now they feel comfortable, now comes the norming stage. There's an agreement and consensus. Here's how we act. Here's how we resolve the conflicts. We all have our clear roles and responsibilities. Decisions are made. You'll do this. I'll do this. And it's all through negotiations. It's not like you do this. Who wants to do this? You offer it up as assignments, and some people have different skills. Or someone says, hey, Bob, you're really good at the marketing. Hey, Sally, you're really good on the writing or communication or whatever. I'm just making that up. So now or is there anybody who wants to take this task who has some experience because the group is kind of weak in this area. Okay? So that takes care of this. And I got the norming. After the norming, I go into the performing stage. When I go to the performing stage, now we're actually able to achieve our goals and objectives. You function on your own. Group controls behavior, clear vision, and delegation of work. Now you have to understand some, and then adjourning, the group ends, and say goodbye and everything else, which is a long-term group or an ongoing group. And even an ongoing group, somebody's going to get retired, someone's going to move, get a promotion, or take different job assignments, and you bring a new team member in. The thing you have to remember, at any one of these stages, something could happen. Some groups never get out of the stormy stage. You're always fighting. You're never going to be competitive. You're always arguing. Think of you have some friends who are been going out for 3 years, and they started off at this stormy stage, really liked each other. Then they got to the stormy stage, always fighting. Never normalized, and then they never for performing means they function as a team. They get more assets. They have more fun and everything else. They're working together. Okay. So that takes care of the stage. Now, when I look at team building, as a first-line supervisor, when you take over a new team or a new team member comes in, you sometimes have to bring that person in to bring him into the group. And you, as a first-line supervisor, you have to kind of set up the opportunities where they work together with different team members, or bring them around so the individual meets everyone. Don't put them with one mentor at the beginning. Hey, work with Sally, work with Jack. Hey, move them around and move her around so they get to know it. Set up goals within the team also, so the team knows what's happening. Analyze what needs to be done through a teamwork. Here's the work. I'm assigning this. I need somebody for overtime. Let them know. Allocating the work. Who does what? Here's your function. Could you help George out? He's got a little more work because a new customer client comes in, and you're still in charge, but you're dealing it in a way where all the team members are part of the solution. Not just here's your job, the next, and you just give them orders. They come in like robots and they leave like robots. You have them involved in the process. Don't take a long time. We're going to talk about powerful teams at the end. Examine how the relationships among the team is working and how well the team is functioning. Okay, now communication in a team. This is kind of hard. The way you communicate, if you're autocratic or descending to individuals, they're not going to be open to you. You want to communicate. They understand you're the first line supervisor. They understand you're the manager. They understand you're the boss. You don't have to treat them like they're nobody. You could just say, hey, do this, or hey, do you mind helping me out with it? They're going to help you out. That's what they're hired there for. Show acknowledgement and disagreement. It's okay to disagree. Influences the team's success. Hey, come on, we could do it. You're the initiator or a relationship bender or a mentor. Open trust. Once you lose trust within the team members, you've lost it. You have to trust each other within the team. Openness. Be open. If there's something that's bothering you, be gentle. If you don't know how to present it, present it to the supervisor. And I've got people say there's an issue, and I'm going to say Sally has an issue. No, I'm going to say there's an issue within the team. Something's brought up. Some people are having a little conflict at this. Some people are making too much noise when they're eating, or they're bringing food and not picking up afterwards. Another person comes in, got a sticky, whatever. But I'm the one doing it, and it's open. Collaboration. Try to bring people in and helping to solve the problem. Try to bring in and say what's going on. Even for negative aspect, you have to collaborate how we're going to put this behind us and go forward, and requires open and positive communication. You have to work on it. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to work on it. Okay. Now, rewards. Now, if I look at the rewards, reward appropriately to remain productive. Rewards should be varied, different types of reward, not always the same thing. It's like always I eat the same thing. I want different rewards. One day I got a gift card, next time I get some kind of real gift. Other times I could take them out to lunch. Whatever the team rewards, or you get a bonus at the end. Enough so everyone will feel motivated. Everyone, remember, when you find out what your teams, why I say you have a team about like 10 or 15, you have to understand the individual. A lot of times you will know the individual, your team member, sometimes better than your own family. Remember, you spend a lot more time at work than you with your family. Not trying to be sarcastic or anything else. You're spending 40 hours, 50 hours, depending on how you work, at work and family. When you see them dinner time, God, I love you, honey. Bye, honey. I see you. Good night, honey. I'll see you in the morning. And what happened to that 8 hours or 12 hours you're at work? So you have to understand your team members. Because of that, it's relationships. And once you look, I could force my team members to do something because I'm the boss, the supervisor. But if I could convince them and get them to buy in, they're more than just compliance. They basically will go above and beyond. Okay? and then it says the entire team should be rewarded for accomplishment instead of emphasizing on individual award. That's the one area that's a little fuzzy. So, because you're going to have some people in the team that aren't as productive, should they be rewarded the same thing if they only did not enough, or they weren't there half the time because they were sick or whatever? Should they get the same reward? In theory, yes. In reality, that doesn't work. If the team gets dysfunctional, a lot of companies will have the team reward, and if you weren't as functional within that team because you're only there once or twice, your reward is prorated to the functionality and the input you put in there. That makes it fair for the team. The team still, but here's the team. The team received $100, and you only got 10% because you didn't do much. So you're not gonna get the $100. You only get $10. You've only been there one time over a 5-month period. You did 80%, so you'll get $80. You see how that works? So, but the teams are still the $100 for everybody. So some people may get more depending on your input. Okay. Now, so we've got that. Now, reason for meetings. I'm not one for meetings. But remember, part of building relationships and communication, you had to communicate with the people. You could communicate one-on-one with individuals, but the whole team has to see how you communicate with them, and team members got to communicate in a formal fashion with you in controlling what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, because you are the leader. You are the one that they look up for. If somebody says a remark that is inappropriate, hey, that's not kind of appropriate. Come on, guys, we're at work, or gals, we're at work. I mean, let's act professional. What you do at home, what you do there at work, I want you to be professional and respectful to all your team members. That is part of our requirements here when you're working for me, or that's your job. You don't want to either force them or reward them. Okay, prepare group members for change and build support and to prevent misunderstanding. So sometimes I'll have a meeting, but the meeting's got to be. Let's go on this one. So that's the reason for the meeting. Now, preparing for the meeting. When I prepare, who should attend? You don't want everyone to attend. Decide where to meet. Do I meet in the morning where everyone's convenient? Do I meet off-site? Do I meet at the location because there's some issue? Do I meet in another department? Participants may receive any other documents they need. Prior to meeting is like coming to class. You have to be prepared before you come to class. Draw an agenda. Here's what's going to be required. Give it a time for how much you're going to spend on that. Distribute the agenda, and everything will be distributed with emails. It'll be to review it before they come to the meeting. So everyone's preparing. Okay. Now, when I conduct a meeting, start on time. If they're late, close the door. Let them in. Let them know they're late. Sit in the back. You have nothing else. Be quiet. Let's go on. I don't do anything. I have to say this is inappropriate, disrespectful. If you come in on time, the meeting is 8 o'clock. You had a week's notice. You should be here on time. Facilitate the discussion. You start the discussion, and even if the discussion goes back, you let it go. You have to pull it in. Otherwise, you'll be talking for the whole meeting, and you're only going to get past one thing. Rephrase ideas that participants express. Summarize key points often so they understand we're still on course. Do not dominate the discussion. You're the leader. You want them to be part of it. Encourage everyone to contribute enough to make sure everyone is found in the discussion. Do not allow one participant to monopolize the discussion, and not only, and you're that one. Don't monopolize all unless it's a meeting just for downloading because something's happening. But if it's a meeting that you're conducting to find out how the team's doing, and so certain meetings will have different agendas and different focus, how much you're involved and how much you want the team. End the meeting on time and continue. If we didn't finish it all on time, we'll put it on the next agenda in the first 10-15 minutes. Overwhelming problems, keep the discussion linked to the agenda. People are going to try to sway. Sometimes I do that. I got to pull myself back in. I'm off track because I wasted time. Avoiding ridiculing participants and respect their efforts to contribute. There's no stupid questions. Some are better than others. A lot of times I throw out questions just to stimulate, and people look at me, but that's just the way it is, just to get the conversation going. Be sure participants are prepared. If not, consider rescheduling the meeting. No reason to have a meeting, no one knows what you're talking about, or they didn't get your agenda and they weren't prepared. I mean, you're just wasting your time. Give them the coffee, give them the roll, tell them to have a good time. All right, so that's it for our Series 3, Supervisions, Groups, and a powerful team meeting. Remember, the meeting is when you get to know the individuals. Don't try to say meetings are a waste of time. That's when people collaborate. That's when people could talk. That's when people have a little relax, release the stress. That's when you get some feedback. That's when you could download. You could send a lot of things through emails. You could do a lot of things through communication like this. But that face-to-face feeling, touching, and working works well. Remember these 4 stages here. These are the most important stages. If you're looking at anything else: forming, storming, norming, performing, and journeying. Some people never get out of the forming. Some people never get out of the storming. Some people, I hear, they're good. They're just consistent. You want to be in the performing, so you're achieving your goals. That means your team reaps the rewards and everyone is happy. So that's in a nutshell our series 3. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. I'll see you online in the forums or in one of my workshops or in a face-to-face classroom. And have a nice day. Bye.